Hi, and thank you so much for joining me today. And today is day 15 of Scraptember 2024. And today's prompt is to use a sketch. Now, Katie from the Scrappy Sisters did provide a sketch, which I'll pop in the top left-hand corner there. And that's what's given me my inspiration for this layout. I wouldn't say that I followed it completely, but I have used it as my basis for this layout. So she had two photos overlapped in the top left hand corner, so I've done that, but mine are both 3x4. I think the left hand photo in the sketch is a bit bigger than the other one, but I've decided just to go with two the same size. And there's lots of mixed media in the background, so I'm going to use my Hey Little Magpie stamps. This is the James alphabet. I've got both the outline one and the solid one, and I'm using 3 distress oxides. The blue one is a new to me, and I can't remember the name. I'm just looking for it now. Salty Ocean. And then I've got, I think it's Fossilized Amber and Spice Marmalade as the yellow and orange. So you can see I've just spelt out the word fun, and I've used it in the blue first of all. So I stamped it, and then I've added some water to the letters. You can see me doing it here, and then stamped it onto the page. Now, I didn't clean the stamp off properly on here, so the yellow and blue have turned to green. But it's not a problem. I quickly mopped it up with some tissue, and it was absolutely fine. And now I'm just going in with my paintbrush just to bleed those letters a little bit more. And then I'm going to come in with my solid alphabet and spell out the word bingo. So this was some photos of our recent cruise with P&O ferries around the Mediterranean. And on our last sea day, the day before we came home, they had some bingo on. The kids absolutely loved it when we played it one evening earlier in the cruise. So we decided to go down for an hour of bingo, which was great fun. We didn't win anything, but it was still fun. And we had a drink while we were doing it. So that's always good. So just spelling out bingo now with those solid letters, and then I'll do exactly the same method. I'm not going to come in with the blue this time because I don't want too much blue in this. There's blue in the pictures, but I'm actually using Good Vibrations from Pretty Little Studio, which doesn't have much blue in it. So I wanted to just pick up that blue in the photos of the bingo tickets, but not have it too prominent. So I'm just stamping the word bingo at the bottom here, and then I shall stamp it again at the top right. And you saw at the beginning I just use a pencil to mark out where the photos roughly are going to go, just so that you can still see those words, or make out what they say at least. So I'm just using the residual paint or ink on the stamp to add a little bit of splattering before I move into the orange, and then I'm going to add this to the top as I mentioned, and there we go. And then I want to blend those colours. You can see it's a very vivid orange. Get my teeth back in. So I just want to blend that out a little bit more. And then I also want to add some mixed media behind the title, which was that good stuff piece that you may have seen me putting down at the beginning. So I'm just going to come in with some ink, water it down, and add some of that behind where the title will go there. So just blending it all together. Adding a little bit more down at the bottom here, adding some splatters, and then I wanted to add just a little bit more blue, and I've got to be careful because I don't want this to blend with the yellow and create more green, so just being very careful with that splatter. So just mopping up the dark pools of blue just to make it a little bit lighter there on the page. Plenty of splatters, a little bit more, and then dabbing it up. And that's pretty much it now. So now I'm going to focus on the photos and just leave that to one side to dry. So I'm going to add some mats to my photos. First of all, just scrap white cardstock to get that lovely white border. And then I'm going to go through my Good Vibrations papers to see what else I can find to add mats behind these two pictures. So while I'm doing that, please don't forget to check the description box down below. I'll have the playlist there of everybody joining in on Scraptember. There are some really good videos going up every day as people join in and they add their videos to the playlist. So by the end of September, there will be hundreds to watch, and it's well worth a look through, especially if you're looking for some inspiration. If your inspiration is lacking, go and check out the playlist. So I first of all pulled out this dotty paper, which I'm going to just trim slightly larger than my photo to create two mats. And the photos are the same size, so I'll trim one and then just use that as my guide to cut another one. Just like that. And then I am going to bring in another paper once I've got these two together. So this lovely triangle paper, orange and white. I nearly said square because of course the orange and white make the square, don't they? But I suppose it's triangles really. So just making this slightly bigger than that spotty paper, and again doing the same technique, just using that paper as a guide. And there we go, there are the mats. So I'm going to distress all the edges and then create offset mats with those. So the top photo I will offset the papers to the left, and the bottom photo I'll offset the papers to the right, so I can still have the photos overlapping without too much bulk in between. So just using my Tim Holtz edge distresser to distress those edges, and then I can get those glued together. And you can see I've got some washi tape that I've pulled out in preparation for this layout. I want to create 2 strips along the top of the page and along the left hand side of the page, and I really want to get more use out of my lovely washi tapes that have just been languishing in my drawer, so I've pulled those out as well. So now I've positioned the papers, I'm just going to get those into place, and I'll do the same with the other one. Won't make you watch that, but here they are positioned, and then sticking that photo into place. So that's approximately how it's going to look. I'm just going to add some foam pads onto that Good Stuff die cut piece, because I realised with all that bulk of the paper and also the fact that I've distressed the edges, it makes the photo quite a bit higher. So where I'm overlapping it onto the background, I'm just adding some foam pads where it sits flat on the background. I hope that makes sense. So this is all pretty much dry now, so I can add these bits. And you can see there that lovely little blot of ink behind the title, and I just wanted to make sure that that was showing. So I'm going to stick the photos flat down to the page, make sure that the edges are overlapping as I mentioned, and then I can start adding my strips and embellishing those photos. So add the title first of all, so just making sure that my foam pads are in the right place. I put them in the wrong place to begin with, so just adjusting that so that that can overlap over that bottom photo. And there we go. So the top photos of our drinks and bingo tickets, and then the bottom photo is a photo that Amelia took to taking for me every day while we're on the cruise, of her looking into my staring or glaring into my camera. So I've got a really nice series of those that I'm going to do a layout of. I'm quite excited to do those. She's so funny. So there's the first washi tape going down, just a black with white spots on, and then I'm going to add a couple of torn pieces of paper. So using that same orange, triangle square paper, and just layering that over the washi at the top there. And I want everything to be offset against each other so that nothing's going to be straight on these lines. It just creates some interest. And then I found this floral piece, so I thought I would add a bit of that as well to the left hand side. So exactly the same method, just curling up the edge and then sticking that down over that black washi. And some of these washi, they'll just be little bits peeking out, but that's what I wanted. I wanted all the different colours to show on this layout. So I've definitely deviated from the sketch now, but as I say, the sketch gave me the inspiration of where to put my photos and all the mixed media in the background, so it was a great sketch to have. There's another thin strip of just a tiny offcut that I had left over, so just tearing the end off that and getting that glued down at the top. And all these layers create interest. And now back to the washi. So I've got this lovely one with hearts all over it. So I'm going to add that. Oh, first of all, the dots down the left-hand side, and then I'll add the hearts to the top after. So there are those hearts. And then I've got the lovely 49er Market stitched washi tape. So I'm going to add a couple of strips of that across as well. So one across the top here, and these are all layering up really nicely to create that interest that I was after, and it's sort of framing the two photos as well. So now into the embellishments. I've just opened all the packets of the Good Vibrations embellishments and put them all together in this plastic envelope. So I pulled out that little flag that says doing my best, and another little flower to add behind the title there. Lovely yellow heart to start a cluster on the left hand photo there, and then that little circular journaling spot that's going to go underneath that pennant banner. Just trying to decide what to put under the photo here, but I just like this piece that says good vibes only, so I'm going to add some foam just to raise that up a bit and stick that under there. So glue to that banner. I know that's going to stay there. I'm being quite decisive today in what I'm doing. And then this lovely journaling spot. And then adding that heart that I know is going to stay there. So I brought in this flare badge from Hey Little Magpie. It just says hope on it, because we were hoping that we were going to win. We didn't, but we still had a brilliant time, so it didn't matter. And then this fabric piece that says smile, the fabric tag that we sell again is in the bits and pieces in Hey Little Magpie. So I'm just pulling out some pink twine just to stitch down the right hand side of that smile piece, just to hold that in place. It's a lovely embroidered ribbon. I want to just use some embroidery floss on, so sticking down that journaling tag, and then I'll come in with my needle and I just prick loads of holes down it, and then doing a diagonal stitch all the way down that edge. So there we go, just securing that in place with washi tape on the back, and then putting that badge, that flare badge comes on and off the layout so many times, you'll see. Just pulling out some more ephemera pieces now, and then adding my journaling, just a tiny bit about what we're doing. And then I found in one of my little drawers on my desk this rubber piece, and I think it's from Pink Fresh, and it just says blah blah blah. So just sticking that under there, I thought that was great fun. And another star just to fill in that gap between the heart and that first title. Then I find this little floral piece with the black, so that's bringing the black over to the right hand side there, which I thought was good. And then I'm going into my Hey Little Magpie stamps. These are the Life Captured set, and it's got this lovely chevron, so I wanted to add those in black ink a couple of places around the page. So one there, one at the top here, and one in that bottom cluster just there. So now those chevrons are down, I'm going to come in with the stars, and I'm just going to stamp those in orange, again just in a few places around the page, just to bring in a little bit more interest on that background. So there comes that flight badge off again and back on. Just adding another little bit there, and then in with the blue and the little circle that says love. I just wanted to bring that blue a little bit more around the page, so once again pulling that flare badge off. And I am going to water these down shortly with some water, just to create that watercolour effect and so that it's not too in-your-face blue. So I wanted to add a tab at the top, which will hold my date. This is what I tend to do a lot. If you've watched my videos before, you'll know. And then some ribbon loops in that bottom left-hand cluster. An orange one with sort of yellow dots, which works really nicely with this collection. And then I've got like a yellow, well, it's pale yellow and white stripe, which I'll just loop behind as well. And that's a different width, and it's nice having two ribbons of different widths. There we go. So here I am with the water, just blurring everything out a little bit more, just to create that watercolour feel. And then my date, of course, just onto scrap white card. And I'll cut that out and add that to that tab at the top. Very nearly done now. Just trimming it down so it's nice and neat. And that's it. Thank you so much for joining me. I really hope you've enjoyed this video, and I shall see you again soon. Bye.